Well, 2023 was quite the roller coaster ride here in the agriculture industry, and there's no doubt that 2024 will have its own set of surprises for us. At this year's National Association of Farm Broadcasting Convention, we caught up with a grain analyst who shared some insights for new and young ag producers as we gear up for the upcoming new year. Joining us now at the NAFB convention is Cody Barilla. He is with Terrain. He's one of the grain analysts as part of that team. Cody, we appreciate the time. As we look broadly at the U.S. economy and all the things happening, there's a lot of changing dynamics, especially as we look toward 2024. What are some of the things you're keeping an eye on that we should be sharing with our producers today?
Yeah, especially when you think about the young and beginning producers out there. We're moving from a period of relatively great margins, high prices, into one where some of these costs and expenses stayed fairly sticky. You look at machinery expense, seed expense continues to go up, labor expense, very expensive, and then you tack on interest rate now. So we have this margin compressed environment as commodity prices continue to slide. And when I think about giving advice and talking to our farm credit customers, especially our young and beginning farm credit customers, I like to boil it into three topics. And the first one is look at these purchase decisions and these large decisions you're making through the 2019 version of yourself. The second one is we're managing margins, not prices. And the third one is what is your comparative advantage? So going back to that first topic, looking at these decisions through the 2019 version of yourself. So all farmers remember $4 corn, very difficult times. And when we get to the end of the year and we're making all of these term payments, would that version of you want to take on this additional expense right now? Or would you want to add these marginal acres? So we as farmers have a habit of liking to hit the highs of the markets. We want to get as much out of that corn as we possibly can. And from a young and beginning farmer perspective, without the liquidity and balance sheet strength, it's important to focus on margins, not prices. So starting with that cost of production number, having a really good feel for where you're at there, and then let's set some goals for what type of returns do we want on a per acre basis or a return on investment level. And from there we can take very robotic, precise timing on our pricing of those grains. I think that's going to set producers up for success. And you look at 2023 as an example, the producers that did that are very happy they did at this point in the year. But it's one of those objectives that works year in, year out. And then the third thing, look at your comparative advantage. So when you think of your own farming operation, where do you excel compared to your peers? Are you a low-cost producer because you can work on your own equipment? Are you an expert at bookkeeping and financial acumen? Are you able to keep records of the low carbon intensity grain that you produce and can market that at a higher level? So adding additional revenue to the operation, and one way we've looked at that is through a topic of monetizing conservation.
So we do look forward to 2024. What's one thing on the horizon you think producers might not be looking at right now, but they should be focusing on?
45Z tax credits. That is a tax credit to ethanol plants and biofuel plants on low carbon intensity corn. The rules are still being developed, but that will be in place in 2025, so January 1st of 2025. So the grain we raise here in 2024 is eligible for that tax credit. And the rules are still being developed, so it's difficult to say, but I think there can be substantial revenue opportunities if one were to have the traceability and could verify that that is low carbon intensity grain. And that actually pairs really well into the conservation programs we talked about. So those farmers that are growing cover crops, they reduce the carbon intensity of that score. Same with no-till and some of those other things.